Hi, chums. Mwah. I'm a little boy. Hi, big baby. Welcome on back, you guys. Gooby's always got to stop in and say hi. So, thank you so much for tuning on in once again. We're going to do another Final Destination quick overview, I guess. I feel like we're more so just kind of focusing on the kills here. That's really what the series is all about. Like I said, it kind of follows the same energy of slasher movies. And I do find it interesting that we are given kind of like this final girl, but they also kill her off in this one, unfortunately. And we kind of don't get the same thing again. What? But yeah, so we're going to dive into the second movie in the franchise. This one came out in 2003. I feel like they needed to just kind of take a little break. Because, I mean, the first movie was so successful for the time period and for what it was that, you know, you'd figure they'd kind of like just jump right into another one, but there was a little bit of time in between. There's kind of space in between each of the installments. So, Final Destination 2, directed by David R. Ellis and distributed by New Line Cinema. The budget for this one was $26 million, so a little bit more than the first. Box office wise, it made $90 million. Which is a bit of a drop-off from the first one. And pretty much the premise for these movies is very simple. Someone has the premonition, and then we watch as death takes its course. This one, death is stalking Kimberly Carmen and multiple survivors of a deadly highway accident. Now, I feel like this is the one that people are probably scarred by the most. The log truck and just everything that happens. Plus, it's all like practical effects once again, and it's so good. The stunt people really put their lives on the line for this one, and it pays off. So AJ Cook plays Kimberly Corman. Ali Larder once again is Clear Rivers. Tony Todd is Mr. Bloodworth. Michael Landis is Thomas Burke. David Petkow is Evan Lewis. James Kirk is Tim Carpenter. And Linda Boyd is Nora Carpenter. Now, there are other characters within that, but I would say this is like principal cast. And yeah, so just diving right on in. We're not going to waste any time. But once again, a bit of a content warning. I am going to include as many of the kills as I can in here. So if, you know, that's not your thing, you've been warned. 1 year after the explosion of Flight 180, college student Kimberly Corman is heading to Daytona Beach, Florida for spring break with her friends Shayna, Dano, and Frankie. On the entrance ramp to US Route 23, she has a premonition of a deadly pileup caused by a logging truck. Kimberly stalls her car and exits, preventing 8 people from entering Route 23. Lottery winner Evan Lewis, mother Nora Carpenter and her 15-year-old son Tim, businesswoman Kat Jennings, stoner Rory Peters, pregnant Isabella Hudson, high school teacher Eugene Dix, and state trooper Thomas Burke. As Burke questions Kimberly, the pileup occurs, and a car carrier crashes into Kimberly's car, killing Shayna, Dano, and Frankie. Listen, the pileup scene is freaking crazy. Just about any, like, worst fear you could think of while driving, that's it. It's so gnarly, and once again, all of the practical effects, the fact that they were blowing these cars up and sending people flying, for real, it's just, I mean, specifically what comes to mind is like the one blonde stunt woman that was in the car of friends. And the car is flipping, and you see her head sticking up out of the sunroof, and her hair just like flying out through the top. It's a crazy scene. The survivors return to their respective homes, where a fire escape ladder fatally impales Evan when he attempts to flee from a stovetop fire in his apartment.
Jesus Christ!
That is also a really nasty one. And it's like, he got so close. He almost made it. And then it was just right at the very end. Aware of death's presence, Kimberly seeks help from Clear Rivers. Now, our kind of final girl in this one, Kimberly, she goes a little crazy, like right off the bat. And I kind of love how there's almost like no hesitation. Whoever had the premonition in these movies, like, very quickly relates it back to, oh, that flight where that kid had that dream or vision. It always very quickly goes back to that. Listen, it might seem lazy. I enjoy it. We're not sitting here spending like forever, watching the characters relearn this shit. They already know about it. Fine by me. Just means that we can get to the kills faster. So, Kimberly seeks help from Claire Rivers, who hid from death at a psychiatric ward after Alex Browning was killed by a falling brick, making her the last survivor of Flight 180. Clear tells Kimberly that their survival provoked deaths to kill them in the order they would have died at Route 23, but concludes that death must be working backwards since Evan died first. Unlike in Kimberly's premonition, she also tells Kimberly to look for omens and save herself. Kimberly sees omens of Tim's death, but fails to save him from being crushed by a glass pane. Gnarly freaking scene too. Another one that I think about often, probably because like it's a kid and just nasty. Oh my god. Clear decides to leave the ward and introduces Kimberly and Burke to William Bloodworth, who tells them that only new life can defeat death. Burke holds Isabella in custody under false charges in an attempt to protect her, believing that the birth of her baby would stop death. Now, the cop just playing into it instantly seemed a little absurd. Just a bit. But there is some kind of suspension of disbelief that has to happen during these movies. I feel like it's somewhat, don't get mad, but maybe this is a controversial take, somewhat in the same breath as like the Terrifier films. It's not necessarily why you're there. So the story kind of doesn't matter, kind of does, kind of doesn't. But it just works, It just works. I feel like when you watch it in the moment, your brain might not notice those little things because, yeah, you're sitting there wanting the next kill to happen or you're anticipating it. And that's just what I love about these movies. And they almost like start to train you to start seeing the issues, like when they walk into a room, things to look out for. He gathers the other survivors in his apartment for safety. But when Nora leaves, a chain reaction causes the doors of an elevator to decapitate her. This is kind of like a brutal scene also. I mean, of course they all are, but I feel like there's a little more emotional weight in this one. A traumatized Eugene attempts suicide with Burke's gun, but it repeatedly misfires. Clear rationalizes that it is not Eugene's turn to die. That too, like, it just gets a little absurd at some point, but it's kind of funny. Like, no, you can't. You can't. It's not your turn. The survivors ride Kat's SUV after learning that Isabella was hospitalized to give birth. Along the way, the survivors revealed that the deaths of Flight 180 survivors saved them from fatal incidents before Route 23's pileup, creating loose ends that death resolves by reversing its list. It gets kind of convoluted. Like, this is why I like when these movies that rely on a simple premise of like, we're here for the kills and gore, and that's just about it. When they start to like explain themselves, it gets really messy. And some people enjoy that, some people don't. I don't know. It just depends. I think it depends on the series as well. Some are just absurd in nature, so they can go and do absurd things and no one really bats an eye. And then others, it's like, that was a choice. The SUV suddenly blows a tire and crashes into a farm owned by the Gibbons family. Kat is pinned to her seat while the others escape. Rescue workers hospitalize Eugene, while one of them accidentally causes Kat to be impaled by a PVC pipe.
Could you be a little quieter with that thing, please?
Yeah, sure. I'll just put it on quiet mode.
That would be good.
That scene always reminded me, now to my remembrance, I can't remember which one came first. I think Final Destination 2 came before The Descent. And if you've seen The Descent, you know exactly what I'm talking about, the opening scene with the pipes. I always think about that too. Oh my god. Her death triggers a chain reaction that causes barbed wire to be launched in Rory's direction, dismembering him. This one too, another great kill that just happens like so quickly but is so gnarly. Kimberly, Clear, and Burke rush to Isabella's ward after Kimberly has a vision of a doctor allegedly euthanizing Isabella. However, they see that Isabella has safely given birth to her baby, causing Kimberly to remember that Isabella was never supposed to die at Route 23. This seems like something we should have remembered a while ago. Like half the movie, their hardship probably could have been spared if they weren't focusing on this one lady the whole time. Suddenly, an oxygen leak from Eugene's ward explodes and kills both him and Clear.
Eugene.
Kimberly realizes that she must try to kill herself and be revived, thus creating a new life that defeats death. She drives an ambulance into a lake and is revived by Dr. Kalarjian. Okay. Later, Kimberly and Burke picnic with the Gibbons and Kimberly's father. The Gibbons tell the story of Brian, their son, being saved from a speeding news van by Rory. Kimberly and Burke realize the implications and witness a malfunctioning barbecue grill kill Brian. And I love how, basically, like, you're never going to out-cheat death. It'll always find its way back to you, and it'll always even itself out, I guess. Just kind of like laws of the universe. I don't know, karma. But yeah, that's the second one. I will be honest, I really enjoy the car crash scene, but other than that, it's not my favorite. I really like the original, the first one, except the plane crash scene always terrifies the shit out of me. And the third one. The third one's my go-to. I love roller coasters, and just something about that movie, like, even though I love them and I don't want them spoiled, like, it's just so good. It also feels like somewhat the most camp. Like, just the energy of it is so early 2000s high school horror flick, and I love that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys. Which scene in this one absolutely traumatized you? I feel like most people it's the log. The log definitely does it for me. And like, I see so many TikToks online of people driving behind those trucks like, oh my god, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? Change lanes. So it's just interesting that, like, this one film, which, to be fair, is a kind of smaller film in the horror scope, but it has such a large kind of cultural impact, or it left like a cultural image for so many of us. And I find that very fascinating that it's been able to reach so much of us in that way. But yeah, tune in next Wednesday. We'll be going over the third one, my absolute favorite. There's something about thirds. The third movie in a trilogy just always does it for me, usually. Not all the time. But Thank you guys so much. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Like and subscribe, all that. We are getting pretty close to monetization actually over here. So thank you guys so much. I truly do appreciate y'all. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day. And I will catch you in the next one. Take care.